Now it's time to do our body mounts. A lot of these parts look very similar, but they're not quite the same, like these two. Watch that. Let's do front bumper here. Okay, the front bumper is separate from the body mount. Now we've got 2 screws here, which will finish locking down our front end assembly, our diff. And then we've got 2 threaded holes here in our A block. And we'll have screws that will go through here to those. They don't need to be long screws. Whatever they offer us will probably work just fine. I'm going to use I'm definitely going to use titanium for all of these. And those we will need a little bit of Loctite on, because those are metal on metal. And they've got those as 6. And I have titanium 6s. Okay. Oops. Okay, there's an R here, and you'll notice over here on page 23, it said R positioned to the rear. So not just that this is the rear, but that's the direction it should point as well. Actually, I'm incorrect about that. That this is the R, but it should be like this. So I'm pointing in the other direction, it will not fit. So we need 4 5s. So the screws pass through the upright here, and they screw into this thick section here, and here. Now, this is a much softer plastic, so be careful that you don't strip these through. And our front is going to go in the same way, more or less. Like that. Okay, bag in, we're getting through that. Some of the last stuff to do before we start doing all the electronics is finishing off these body posts. Basically, these just sit on here and they're going to be able to rock back and forth, so we can, you know, if the surfaces are sloped, we don't have a problem. And so for those, we need 1405s, which are the, they say M3 by 14. Basically, they got a clear, they're going to go through this hole, and one side is thicker. If you'll notice, this is the side that it's going to thread into. And I'm going to go ahead and use aluminum hardware, because this is not a high stress part, and it's very high up in the vehicle, so anything to lower that center of gravity. Someone had asked where I get this blue aluminum hardware. It comes in a couple of colors. I imagine there's more than one place you can get this stuff in lots of 10 or 20. I got these on Amazon. You might be able to find them on places like AliExpress, etc. Now, I wouldn't tighten these too tight. Just get them so it's on, because if you tighten it down too tight, you're going to lock this in, and it's not going to be able to rotate. See, like that. Now it's too tight. So I would keep it so it's got, you know, decent enough motion that if the body flexes and you know, something runs into it and it pops it, that it doesn't rip it out as easily as it might. And let's see, for our fronts, we need the same size, and it's the same kind of thing. It's going to thread in here, so you're going to put the screw in from this side. And they say for the front, we use the second hole. So I'm going to need 4 more of those. Now, depending on the body you're using, the holes they're suggesting may not work, and you may need to move these, but I'm just going to set them in place for now. These you can tighten a little tighter, but again, it's soft plastic and aluminum. You really don't need to crank on it. So that's one piece together. And just to make things look neat and clean, because they are asymmetrical, I'm going to put the screw in the same side, you know, screwing into the fat, but this one I'll twist 180 degrees so the screw heads face outward. It's not necessary, it just looks nice. I think I pulled a couple that must have splashed over from the other side of one of the containers. That one's a little long. Those are all good. Now, one thing I may do later, it's not a huge deal, but every bit of weight counts. Once I have decided on the body that I'm going to probably continue to use the same body shell again and again as I destroy them, I will probably cut the bottom of these posts off and just flush them, because that way it's just less stuff, lighter, you know, maybe a gram or something. I don't know. It just becomes an obsession, you know, weight. But when you're racing, you want to keep every bit off if you can. Especially when it comes to like these 4-wheel drive kits, they're already more than heavy enough as it is. And if you can shave weight, especially weight that's up high versus down low, big benefits. If you can shave weight, unsprung weight, you get faster reacting suspension, better handling. It all adds up. So, something else I was going to do. These don't come with the kit. I just have them. They're some really thin stick-on foam pads. And I'm going to lay down a couple of strips in a couple different positions so that I can have multiple battery options. I'm probably going to keep the long arm setup, the longer swing arm, and then use pads in between the shorty pack. That way I can move the shorty pack up and down. So let me just see if these are, yeah, they're perfect right as they are. Don't ask me where I got these. I could not tell you. Let's see. It says non-solvent type green tape. So you might try searching Amazon or a hobby store, maybe a craft store. And this isn't about protecting the battery or the chassis. It's more about rattle and keeping the battery from sliding around. The battery is less likely to slide on this surface than it would plastic against metal. It'll be quite slippery. Whereas with this foam, it's less likely to slide around. Yeah, so let's see what we've got left over. I don't need to worry about the antenna because the I'm going to be using my my latest radio, the Noble, and I'm going to be using this receiver. It's FGR4S V2, and that's the antenna right there. That's all you need. It's built in. So that'll go over here somewhere, depending on where I decide to put the ESC. And there's the ESC. I like the Hobby King, or Hobby Wing, excuse me. I've been using these X-Runs a lot. One of the reasons that it's nice to stay within a family of products, especially when it comes to speed controls, is that they need a programming device usually. Very few can you just plug into a computer. I think, oh, there's one brand and the name escapes me at the moment. Anyway, I already have the two types of programming boxes. I have the old style, which is compatible to the older models, some of which I still have, where it's a direct wired connection. And I also have the, actually just picked it up, the Bluetooth programmer. And so this you plug into your iPhone, or it connects wirelessly to your iPhone. You run an app on your iPhone or your Android or a tablet, and you plug this into a, I think you just plug it into a power source or into here, and then this wirelessly connects to your tablet, and then you program it through that connection. Much more convenient than having to wire everything together, but sometimes I've known them to be finicky in the past. So I'm going to go ahead and pause up for a minute, and I'm going to do a little experiment and share the results with you. Okay, so what I've done is I've taken all of these steel nuts off of the top of the car, and pretty much everywhere. These two shock mounts, front and rear, because so there's 4 of them here on each end. There's 2 here and 2 at the inner tie rods, and 2 at the inner tie rods here. So that makes 14 altogether. So let's zero this out. And we've got 10.36 grams. So they weigh probably like 0.8 grams a piece. And if I swap all those for aluminum, they weigh 3.1 grams, so a third the weight. I'm saving 7 grams and a good chunk of it up high. So not a lot, but you know, when you're dealing with the short course trucks and the amount of weight that they have, every bit counts. So you know, if that's something you're interested in doing, you can source out the aluminum hardware and use that instead. It's not a strength issue, I don't think, for any of these locations. There's not enough linear torque on these that they're going to damage one of these aluminum lock nuts. So I say go with it, and I'm going to. But there's nothing like a scale to give you elegant proof of a theory being correct, that it's worth the savings. And similarly, all the titanium hardware that I have swapped, I'm sure there would be a corresponding savings in weight.